Welcome back to our studios at Sacred Heart University. Mark Robbins, Noah Fins, and the addition of, I don't know what we're going to do when high school football season officially ends. We're going to have to still, we got our all-state team. We can talk to you about that. Sean Patrick Bowley from Game Time CT.
What's up?
What'd you think of the Cardinals?
Best in the state.
No, that was
number one. Everyone wants Hand to be number one, but there can only be one.
Why do you say
who's
that?
everyone?
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of comments. Some people are like, all the voters robbed the Hand guys. Well, what do you want to do?
But you have an idea, right?
Let's go to a Saturday. Well, did you ask them?
Yeah,
Saturday.
They still have their pads.
Yeah, I'm
and
out
everything.
there. Saturday, Dave Mastriani said he's in. We're going to Yale Bowl. We're going to go out there. We're going to pick the locks of the gate. We're going to walk in.
Why don't we do
no
it for
cameras.
charity? Why don't we do it for charity?
Yeah.
I love it.
We do
There's
this.
no way they'd let that happen. But.
We do this. No, we do this every year. There's been so many times over the past, as long as I've been doing this, where you have two teams at the end. You're like, man, if only those guys could play.
Yes.
And that's the case here. Listen, Hand had a great season. Greenwich had a great season. They both had a great season. Hand got some love in the poll. Just not enough to.
And really, I mean, you can't really make a debate for any two teams besides those two.
Listen,
The two teams had just phenomenal years, and you look at what both teams did offensively and defensively, terrific years. But my vote went to Greenwich from beginning to end, wire to wire. I was voting.
Well, I mean, it basically came down to this. It came down to Hand didn't play Greenwich's schedule. Greenwich got through a ridiculous Class AA bracket, and they dominated in that Class AA bracket. Yes. Hand, you can argue, you can say, well, it was one of the great teams in history. They score all these points. Look at their size. Look at everything up front. But at the end of the day, you have to really. Well, what can you compare them to? There's not a lot you can compare to. Yes. Greenwich beat a team in New Canaan that beat up two of the best teams in the SEC. Now, granted, Hand didn't. If we had seen Hand maybe beat up those teams too, maybe you'd have something to go on. But. Anyway, here's your number one team, Greenwich.
Yes. Let's take a look at the poll. Let's take a look at the final poll, starting with number one. So you have Greenwich number one. You really couldn't do it any other way than have Daniel Hand number two, and St. Joe's putting up just 70 points in the championship game. Number
Squeaky
three.
They're getting an early jump on basketball season.
Yes.
New Canaan hopping up to number 4. Bloomfield number 5. Quickly go ahead, guys.
Wait. Before we go to the 6 through 10, can we talk about Bloomfield and New Canaan? Was there any sort of tussle between 4 and 5 there?
No, everyone was pretty much dead set on New Canaan being.
Not me. I had Bloomfield.
Listen,
they won a state championship. That has to be worth something. And at that point,
they lost to Berlin 37-0.
Okay, they did. They lost to Berlin, but
and Berlin got smoked.
Right. Okay.
St. Joe's. Right.
Yes, but I wasn't putting them ahead of St. Joe's. I was putting them ahead of a team that also lost a couple games.
Well, look, they win a state championship. That's great. I don't think you can do it that way. I think you really have to rank them the way they're supposed to be ranked.
But based on what? Based on an eye test?
No, based on the fact that Bloomfield lost to Berlin 37-0. They got beat by Berlin 37-0. Berlin got beat up badly by St. Joseph. Also, who also beat Berlin was New Britain. They beat up Berlin pretty much. Right. So I would say Southington, which beat New Britain, which beat Berlin, which beat Bloomfield, you kind of rank them that way, and I would put it that way.
I just had to give something for a state championship.
I gave them a vote. I gave them my 11th vote.
All right. Now go through the 6 through 10, where you won't find Bloomfield if it's on Sean.
I don't agree with it.
And you won't find Southington in this group either.
No, I don't.
Listen, it's hard to get every team in there.
It is. Yeah. Well, it is, and I think it's ranked pretty much right. The only ones I don't agree with are Berlin at 10. I would have put New Britain, or actually I would have put Southington at number 10. And instead of number 4, I would have put Bloomfield out of this top 10. I mean, listen, great team, great season. They weren't better than Berlin. They weren't better than, by extension, New Britain and Southington. So, and those teams got beat in the final. So, look, I mean, it is a poll, and that's the whole point of it. I thought the coaches got it right. The coaches put Bloomfield at number 9. I thought that was appropriate more the way. That's just my opinion. Again, it's a poll. I mean, so.
Well, I mean, and it's a poll, and
listen, I'm not going to say I'm fine with you. I just think you have to give some.
You do, and I gave them a vote.
Yeah. Okay.
But they didn't beat those teams. I thought those other teams were better. They're double L schools. Anyway.
So when we look back at this season, It's my contention that there are too many divisions and there are too many state champs for a state this size. So imagine if we had 2 classes, an M, and a large, and a double large, and you would have had Hand against Greenwich in a final.
Probably
could have had St. Joe's and Bloomfield.
Yeah.
In the final.
You probably could. I don't know if St. Joe really belongs in an S or an M or an M.
But I think more people would be okay with St. Joe's in the smaller division if there were more teams, because you'd have more better teams. You would have Bloomfield in there, and Sony in there. You would and some of the better M's. Although they destroyed everybody, and this year they proved they could play with anybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was one of the best teams I've seen. Teams I've seen. Clearly a top 3 team.
And they lose their star quarterback who's going to go play at Maryland. He'll be signing next Wednesday. But they've got some kids coming back to St. Joe's team. They could be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they had a lot of. They transformed throughout the season.
Can they move up again? You think?
No, they can't. The way the CIAC said, you can only move up 1 spot for the success modifier to kick in. They can't go to L, unless they change the tournament, the way they classify teams.
Could they ask to go up?
No, they can't ask to go up either. So
really.
Nope. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in asking to go up. I don't like that. That means that I would prefer we just try to figure out a common classification.
Well, unless you did like what basketball did and you create this Division I.
Right, and I like that idea, but I don't like it where they do it after the season. You know what I mean? They don't do it. I like it. I like you play who you play in the regular season is who you also play in the broader sense in the state tournament. That's what
I would blow the whole thing up, because I think you need to be playing in conferences with like-sized schools, and conference champions then go to the playoffs.
I agree with that. But listen, it was a coronation weekend. I think beginning of the season, we pretty much nailed who was going to be at least in the final.
And it's true. The top 4 or 5 were pretty similar to.
We didn't know about Darien. Like, we thought Darien might have a shot, and they did.
We got to run. I hate to do that.
All right.
We got to toss, but we'll have Sean back again soon. We'll be right back.